All right, people. I'm gonna try to start this next series of daily tips. Today we had an incident coming out the pad. There was a driver that clipped some lady's mailbox, and so now we're in the process of trying to rectify that situation. I'll speak about my own situation. I was coming to this exact staging and I made a wrong turn into a neighborhood and I was loaded and I kept going in the neighborhood and I should have known better. By the time I figured out I was in the wrong place, I was already down the hill in a cul-de-sac, and I thought I was gonna be able to pull it off and come around, because it was a good size. I clearly it wasn't big enough, and there's a video that you can see. It's called yard work. So I got up on the man's yard, and he was a pastor, but the moment I got on his grass, oh, it was over. He didn't get out of hand and curse at me or anything like that, but he was very upset, and he called the police and he wanted to make sure he get a report and all that, which was fine with me. That's okay with me. I wasn't gonna run, or I wasn't scared of what I did. It was just one of those things, it happens. So anyway, I'm giving him a picture of my license, my information, so he could feel better. Like, look, I'm not trying to run on you. I made a mistake. Whatever you want to do, you want to call the police, that's fine with me. Let's try to fix the situation so I can make you whole again and we can move forward, because I damaged his property. And like I said, you can see the video on yard work in one of my videos. I'm not sure if it was a short or a video. And anyhow, what happened from that was he wanted to find this company that was really expensive to come down, and that was fine with me because I messed him up. So hey, I gotta fix it. And so once he did that, I actually called that company, and that company told me, hey, we're not gonna come down for that job. We do, a whole acre or a pool. We putting flowers and mango trees, and they're basically, interior decorators for your land or whatever. I'm not sure what landscapers. They're landscapers. They're not gonna come down for a couple $100 job. Anyway, he called them. I also called them. I told him, hey, whoever you want to get. He called them. He's like, man, they're not gonna be able to do it. I called a couple other places. They're not gonna come down. I'm like, look, man, let me handle it. So I called this guy, and I put a review, man. I wish I had the name to his business. Anyway, the gentleman came down, met me. He looked at it. He gave me a quote. He said, I could get it done right now. I'm like, let's do that. So he left again. I remember I came here staging. I left the truck here. He came pick me up. He looked at the job. He's like, all right, let me get my people in an hour or two. And I guess he went to go get supplies, and he had something. I can't, like a front end loader, but it was like a small thing or whatever. It wasn't huge because he had it like on the back of the trailer. And he leveled the ground. He put the seed down. He put hay. He gave me instructions. I emailed the gentleman, and he wasn't happy or satisfied, but he came back and he said, hey, I appreciate you handling it so fast. I see that they did good work. They leveled out my grass, and hopefully everything will grow. And I guess he kind of calmed down. But the thing is, you want to have a lot of integrity when you're dealing with these locals. This is their home. This is their place. Sometimes they get out of hand, but you got to keep it cool about yourself. And you got to remember, you're in their house, and you wouldn't want nobody coming to your house and pissing on your front grass, so to speak, or doing something that you wouldn't want done where you live at. So that's why I kind of understand when most of them, they don't want to stop for us and all these. I'm ready for that, because they're upset. There's one person making money. Actually, there's not one person making money. You got a lot of people making money, and you got a lot of other people dealing with the overflow of that, sort of speaking. So, you know, you got the landowner making money, you got the truckers making money, you got the oil field people making money, and then you got the residents dealing with, you know, what they have to deal with. Because, damn, is that another spider? I'll be having pets. I'm gonna get them out of here. I gotta stop leaving my windows down. At nighttime, I leave my windows down. One of them things is gonna get up in here and they're gonna eat me one day. Anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, when you're dealing with incidents, try to get ahead of them. Try to deal with them with a lot of integrity, and try to have a lot of understanding of you know, put yourself in their shoes. You don't want nobody trampling on your flowers. You don't want nobody pissing your grass. You don't want to deal with somebody's attitude if they're the ones that caused you some type of damage. So you try to, you know, try to be respectful. I mean, I'm from New York. You know, we don't necessarily get along with neighbors a lot, and we mind our own business. Over here is a little different. Anyway, I hope that helps. That applies to everything in life, period. You know, just try to do the right thing for the most part. Sometimes the right thing is the wrong thing. Everybody knows we're all grown. You can't make everybody happy. You got to figure out what's right to you and stick by that. As long as you're willing to deal with the consequences that come behind your actions, that's fine. Anyway, I hope this helped you some shape, form, or way. If you got something to add, put it in the comment. If you disagree with me, put it in the comment. If you like it, put it in the comment. Later.